Hey guys, what is happening? Saber here, back once again at long last with a new video. It's been a while and I've missed you guys. I hope you've missed me, but maybe don't crush my dreams in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you've all been keeping well in the past week, and this video is kind of a catch up, what I've been doing, what I plan to do in the near future as well. So two things you probably noticed already. The first is that the time on this video is quite long, quite longer or much longer than what I've been doing in the past. The second is that the title of it is quite long as well. There's a lot kind of packed in there, a lot to talk about in the coming like 12-15 minutes. So I'll keep rambling away. Hopefully you enjoy the gameplay on in the background. As you can see, my Serie A team, I should say, isn't exactly world beaters, but hopefully they can do a bit of a job against this Brazilian team. So it's kind of a randomer style, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that later on as well. So first things first is I hit a milestone, or I hit two milestones really. The first is 1,800 subscribers, and the second is 300,000 total views. So I have to say, a massive thank you to every single one of you who's subscribed to me, who's followed my journey and all of that, and supported me along the way. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the fact that, you chime in, you let me know what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing so great and could improve on, and things like that. Every single bit of feedback and every single view is just massively appreciated. And of course, all those likes rolling in as well. It's just absolutely great. Now, I don't tend to do the whole celebratory milestones, as you know, if you followed me, for a while. And there's a couple of reasons for it. I feel it's a bit self-congratulatory, but the main reasons, I suppose, is after a period of inactivity like I've had this past week, I gain a few subscribers and I maybe hit a milestone or whatever, and then I put up a video and all of a sudden all of these people realise, hey, this guy isn't very good at FIFA, or, this guy does sound like an Irish Kermit the Frog, and they unsubscribe, and, I end up looking foolish because I fall below that milestone and I have to do it again a couple of days later or whatever. But the main reason, I suppose, is that I value, every single subscriber I get. I know it sounds a bit cheesy or a bit probably cliched at this moment, but seeing my sub count increase by, 1 or 2 a day is brilliant even. Like, every single subscriber I get is great, and hopefully I can continue to entertain them. Hopefully they stick with me and that kind of thing as well. So, I don't know if doing a whole, I've hit a milestone, now you all become important, is any better or worse. But, I like every single subscriber out there, and losing one then is, incredibly depressing and demoralising. I saw a cartoon video on it once, or a cartoon animation thing, where it was, when I gain a Twitter follower, I think it was, and they're all happy and sunshine and laughing and cheering, and then when I lose a Twitter follower, and, it's doom and gloom, they're depressed, they're crying themselves to sleep in a corner. And that's kind of how I feel at times with YouTube as well. So what I've been doing the past week, I was actually over in Austin, Texas, for the first US Grand Prix, well, first in a while, and first has been held in Austin, and I have to say it was absolutely incredible. I'm a big F1 fan. I'm not sure how many of you are into motorsport, but I followed it for years, and I've been to 3 now. One was Austin, obviously. I went to San Marino 10 years ago, and I was in Italy last year as well for a Grand Prix, and I have to say this one was incredible. Like, the race itself was good, plenty of action, and it means that the championship goes down to the last race, which is next week as well, so great for that result. But I have to say, I was in a good spot. I was on turn 12, and the driver said, oh, there won't be that much overtaking because the track is new, it's a bit slippy. But there are a bunch of liars, apparently. There's plenty of action, plenty of overtaking, especially at the corner that I was at. It was a great viewpoint. I could see multiple corners as well where I was at. There was 2 TV screens near me, which is important for a race weekend, and just really enjoyed it. There was a good atmosphere there. There was plenty going on as well, and all very well organised, I have to say. I mean, they expected hundreds of thousands of people over the weekend, but queues were pretty good, except when you were queuing for food, but that's another story. Queuing for shuttle buses was a breeze, really. I mean, I think the longest I was waiting was half an hour, maybe. Traffic wasn't really that bad for us on the shuttle bus either. All very pleasant, I have to say. And while you were waiting then, there were bands and things like that. They tried to get entertainment after the race days were done, just so people might stick around, or to make sure that people all didn't just leave at one go. Because if you've been to concerts or festivals or whatever, and the last band finishes up, and then all of a sudden every single person in the place is going to the same place. So it was great to have all this extra stuff going on. And the only downside, I think, was the prices of some things, like bottles of water were $4, beer was $8, $9, and that's kind of extortionate, really. And food was quite pricey as well. But on the whole, it was all good. And the only downfall of the weekend, I suppose, was I tried to queue for an autograph session for Mercedes. They were doing them with various teams over the course of the weekend. So I decided, Mercedes, I want to meet Schumacher. It's my last chance, I followed him over the last number of years, was delighted when he came back out of retirement. Okay, the comeback didn't quite go as well as I had hoped, and obviously he had hoped, but it was great to see him on the podium that one time. Kind of made my day, really, has to be said. So I really, really wanted to meet him. I queued for maybe 8 hours, blazing Texas sunshine, direct sunlight, and Irish people do not tan. I have 50 shades of red. That's pretty much my tanning etiquette. I go from a white to a very, very dark red. But thankfully I've just remained white. So if you see it on camera, that's what happened. I don't tan, I don't go brown, but I didn't go red. So it's all good. But anyway, at the end of that 8-hour queue, he was involved in an incident. It was pretty much a non-incident in the start of qualifying, I think it was, where he held up Alonso, apparently, despite the fact that both of them were on just warm-up laps, so it didn't matter. But yet, there was a steward's inquiry, and so he couldn't make the signing session. That, or, he wasn't going to make it anyway, but this is the excuse that I'm going to peddle out, because I want to believe that he's a pretty good guy. He would have been there, his second last race before retirement again. So I'm going to look on the bright side, or keep him in a positive light, at least. So we ended up with Nico Rosberg, who, again, in his own right, is a good driver, and it was cool to meet him, obviously. Professional Formula 1 driver, how often do you meet them? But the reaction to him coming out on his own was a little less than warm, we'll say. So people started chanting, Michael, Michael, Michael. Everyone obviously wanted to meet Schumacher, and unfortunately that kind of took a bit of the atmosphere, a bit of the positiveness away from the whole signing session. And obviously Nico was affected by the whole thing as well. He wasn't that chuffed, I think, as well, because I said to him, good luck over the weekend, or good luck in the race tomorrow, because qualifying was all that was done. And he just kind of looked at me. And from the way his qualifying, campaign went, he needed all the luck in the world, so he should have been a bit more positive about that. But anyway, enough of it. That was that, I got his autograph. That was cool. Vettel was the session before us as well, and that was pretty cool. He came out, he did all the autographs, and then he came down to the front row with a couple of extra postcards, handed them out, nearly caused a mini riot, which security weren't too chuffed with, as people from like 4 rows back came running through the barriers and all that. But had to be done, because how often are you going to meet Vettel or get his autograph? And someone managed to grab his hat as well. He threw it. It wasn't just a case of they reached over the barrier and grabbed his head or something like that. So that was really cool. He came across, really well. So yeah, his all is winning. It's okay, because he's actually not a bad guy. So that was that. I really enjoyed the week. It was great to see, sunshine and a bit of heat in November. It's kind of a rare thing, especially in Ireland. I'm back to doom and gloom, rain and cold now. But at least for a week I got, 20-something degrees and was able to wear t-shirts outdoors and all that, and it was quite warm. So I enjoyed that. I went to a gun range as well for my first time, so I was firing a small caliber handgun, but, it was enjoyable. First time with a firearm. Feeling that power, feeling that danger. But it was quite cool, enjoyed it. And it was just interesting seeing, how it actually is. Because the media says, it's very easy for us to become trained killers and all that. But they're wrong, because the consistency in aiming and all that was a bit off. Plus it didn't make me feel confident about what I was doing or anything like that, despite playing games for years. But I was decent enough at it. A couple of my shots went completely wayward. And at one point I think I forgot how to aim, because I just think I was shooting the floor. But then I kind of took my time, took a breath again, and was like, okay, this is this. And there was 2 wooden pegs holding up the sheet. And it was pretty good. If zombies are ever made of wooden pegs, that'll be pretty good for taking those down. And if I have 17 shots and the target isn't moving, then I should be okay. But otherwise, I could be in a bit of trouble, I'll say that much. It was interesting to see the shell casings bouncing around as well. The guy beside us ended up hit with one of them, I think. He ended up coming out and got a plaster, because that makes it all better. But he was okay, so that was fine. He didn't shoot anyone or shoot himself, so that was fine. And Austin in general was really cool, really well set up for the whole Grand Prix weekend, welcoming race fans from all over the world. And they had a fan fest going on with lots of music, lots of experiences as well. You could do like race simulators, all this kind of stuff, and competitions. There was mini racers as well. I think it was the buggy or the bug racers, but they were good fun. It was little remote control cars, and that was a blast. Your man doing the commentary and all was good fun as well. So I have to say, really enjoyed my experience over there. I've been to Austin before, and I really like the city, really like the people. So yeah, definitely want to check out if you're planning to go to a Grand Prix. So other things to talk about as well. Nepenthes has set up a new project. It's called Best of the YouTubers, which I'm hoping to get involved in, obviously enough. The first round of competition, as it's being called, is going to be for those with less than 10,000 subs. So if you're an up-and-coming FIFA YouTuber, I definitely recommend you to get involved, put your name in the hat, definitely what have you got to lose, and you might gain a few subscribers and all that out of it if you get selected for the main competition. So how it's going to work apparently is, 32 YouTubers are going to be selected, and they'll go head-to-head, it'll be one-on-one I should say. You'll have 30 seconds to make a bit of a sales pitch almost, showing what you have to offer, kind of your best clips, what you do, all that kind of stuff, and trying to convince people to vote for you. So obviously those with closer to 10,000 subs will have a natural advantage, but hopefully if I get selected I can still hold my own with the tight things that I do. Nepenthes said, it's for those who feel they should get more views or who deserve more views overall, those who put a lot of work into their videos, things like that. And I do feel that I fall into that category. I put a lot of work into my videos. Now, I'm humble. I won't say that my videos are the best in the world or anything like that, but I will definitely say that I work at them. So I like to keep my commentary nicely, tightly edited and things like that, and I like to make sure there's a lot of information, that I tell a story, all that kind of thing. And even the 400 to Fortune. I mean, last year, it was an okay series, it was basically just pack openings, and then I'd talk away over it about what I sold things for and things like that. Whereas this year I've gone for a much more informative approach with the panels, the graphics and things like that, and hopefully it's a bit more interesting and a better approach, and it is a bit more work as well, but I think I'm happier with the end result, so therefore it's worth it to me if nothing else. Now unfortunately Nepenthes also said that it's for those who, upload constantly or daily almost, and I of course took my holiday at the worst possible time because then it was announced. So I have a bit of a blemish on my record, but hopefully I'll be able to bounce back, put out a bit of content and be considered for selection anyway. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens, and hopefully I'll see some of your names in the ranking as well. And hopefully the community gets behind it. I mean, I know it'd be very easy to get bitter, and hopefully I don't have to tell myself this, but hopefully people will, stay involved, keep supporting, and check out those who are being highlighted, because obviously these people were selected for a reason, and they might provide something different. There might be an extra source of entertainment. There are, of course, a lot of YouTubers out there already who are definitely worth watching, so it's difficult to keep track of them all. So hopefully this is a good opportunity for everyone to get involved, find out a bit more, and maybe even find other people to work with. So I'll wish you the best of luck, and of course if I get selected, I'm probably going to come back to bug ye some more about voting for me and things like that. But, that's for another day, hopefully. We'll just keep the fingers crossed for now. So another thing to talk about, well, a couple of things Machinima related. The first of which is pretty big news. I am now a full Machinima affiliate. So I'm going to have a nice shiny background as soon as I work out how to use Photoshop better than a child. And things like that as well. Or I need to find someone who will do a bit of graphic work for me. But really happy with that. Not a whole lot is going to change. I mean, I'm not going to suddenly go, you know what, I'm going to need 10,000 likes, or I'm not uploading part 2, and hopefully those words don't come back to bite me someday. I'm going to keep the quality high. I want to please myself, I want to please the viewers obviously as well, but at the end of the day I want to be really, really happy with the videos that I put out. So I'm going to keep putting in the work and the effort, because that's what makes me happy. I have to say, I'm not going to make millions out of YouTube, not even going to make a full-time job out of it, probably not even going to make a part-time job out of it, but as long as I can make myself happy, that's what I'm happy with at the end of the day. Now, one of the things that is going to change is my streaming home will move to YouTube, because I suddenly have this capability. Now, I know I don't stream an awful lot, so who knows how much it will actually impact on things, but I do hope to stream. I know I constantly promise it, and I constantly talk to myself about doing it, but yeah, I just need to get around and do it more often. I think part of this comes back to the amount of overwork I put into some videos and the amount of videos I try and put out. It's just very difficult to end up going back and play games for fun almost and do all the streaming things as well. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do all that. Hopefully the YouTube thing works out well. I'm not quite sure if it works out better or worse than Twitch in terms of notifications, but it'll all be a learning process. We'll try and set up things as well as we can. Hopefully comment section goes well and all of that jazz as well, and hopefully it's very easy to port over all the videos on demand so that people can just easily catch up with something that they've missed. At least it's a very central hub as well, so it'll be on my video feed and all that, so people can just stay aware of whatever they might have missed, which is always nice. And the other thing is as well, I mentioned that I was on absence as well for a while, of course, But I did manage to get one video up, which was the Show Me the Inform. I think I may have mentioned in that I was hoping to do a load of videos because I knew I was going away or I'd be inactive for a while. And obviously I failed on that promise, so I'm sorry, I've lied to you all. Blatantly lied, but hopefully I can make it all up to you. But I did manage to do my Rise of the Champions commitments. So I had one video up last Monday, link is in the description below. Actually, all the links that I've mentioned, or all the projects that I've mentioned, are going to be linked below. And I did two, and one will be up on Friday. My schedule has changed because Machinima is now running like tournaments for Machinima members, Machinima channels and things like that. So one of them is Madden and one of them is FIFA. I'm going to be involved in the FIFA stuff as a commentator, and I'll link anything that goes up as well, of course, with like quick videos or mentions and things like that on Twitter. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. So Rising the Champions will be up on Friday for the newest episode, and hopefully you'll all check it out. I've mentioned Twitter, mentioned it a couple of times, and I'm actually surprised. I have a lot more followers on Twitter than I thought I did that were interested in FIFA, because it was one day I was like, okay, I need a video for Rise of the Champions, or I need an extra game, so who will I use? And I put it up on Twitter, wasn't expecting anything back, and suddenly like 6 people were back with loads of team suggestions, so that was great to see. And yeah, so fantastic. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @saber0001. And now I'll move on to the final topic, because I'm running out of time and I didn't think I would be. And that is a new series, which is pretty much going to be like this, where I have some gameplay in the background, maybe FIFA, maybe I'll spread my wings, and talk over it. It could be something topical, maybe it'll be a series, or maybe it'll just be something that I do once in a while as kind of I get inspiration, or if people want to recommend, frequent topics, that'd be pretty cool as well. So we'll see how that works out, but it'll basically be, Ruin or Randomer, except less ruining and more just me chatting and playing, because I don't tend to ruin that many people. The only reason I bring that up now is because this game is kind of an example of one that I could have used, because in the first topic, which I won't mention now, I bring up the fact that I'm not really feeling FIFA Online at the moment, and some of it is just the attitudes of players. You saw your man with his first goal run into the halfway line shushing me, and of course I did my vengeance later on. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk to you about. Of course, thank you for all your support. Follow me on Twitter if you want to find out more. Check out the description below for some of the links and things like that. And I'll talk to you very soon with some more videos, and much more frequent videos in the near future. Thanks very much, guys. Talk to you very soon.